Hi everybody, today we're in the kitchen again with Chef JB. Today we're going to be making chicken stew. So you can see what we've done so far is we have some cilantro, carrots, garlic, and if you notice the garlic is not peeled. Doesn't need to be. I'll get back to that. We have some celery ends. This is the bottom part of the celery, and I use this for the stock, kind of give you a good idea of what we're going to be doing is just making basically chicken soup at this point. Over here you can see I have some chicken breast, bone in, cut them in half, they're pretty large, and here in the pot we have just a little bit of oil, and we have some very, very, very fine chopped onion. Now at this point we're going to go ahead and heat the oil up, and we're going to finish chopping our vegetables. You can see just a nice little, very easy cut on the onion, which again, as we did last time, we go 2 across, come back over, 2 more across. It'll give you a nice little finely chopped, enough for stock at least. Now in this case, what I've done again is this is the end of the celery. Just make yourself a row, chop them into maybe 1-inch slices. So in this case it was about 4 cuts across. These guys, if you notice, these are not peeled, just the ends are cut off. They can be as big as you like. These are for flavor. You can cut them just into 2. And that's it for the vegetables at this point. We're going to set the vegetables aside. Now we're going to season all of this chicken. Now it's a really fair amount of things that we're going to put into it. Of course we're going to start with good old salt. Now salt doesn't have to be too liberal, however you don't want to put too little on there as well. What we're going to do is one side, and then you'll notice we're going to flip over and salt the other side and season the other side just as well. So that is salt done, and we're going to come over to the pepper. Now the pot you can hear in the background is starting to do a little sizzling. That's olive oil again, and there's a little bit of onion and just a tad of cilantro in there for a little flavor on the oil. And that's starting up. Some of you are saying, why did I put some garlic in there for flavor in the oil too? There you go for my Italian friends. Okay, so that's pepper out of the way. Next thing we're going to do is put a little bit of thyme. Now thyme is also in the poultry seasoning we're going to use. However, if you guys have ever gone to Kentucky Fried Chicken and you get that what is that flavor in the 11 herbs and spices? Well, most of the time, you're tasting thyme. And that's something that our palates kind of signify in on. There's also rosemary and sage and quite a few other things. So that powder was the poultry seasoning. Now I'm going to go ahead and throw just a tad of garlic powder in here as well. And just kind of sprinkle across the top. Last thing is something that's kind of a secret ingredient. If you guys shop the dollar store like I do, go ahead and shoot me a text and I'll let you know what the secret ingredient is. Otherwise, I'll give you a backup. Okay, now you can hear it's fairly hot in the pan. I had it on high. We're going to turn it down to medium high. Now the first side's already done. We're going to flip these over real quick and just kind of rub them all amongst themselves. The seasoning will get all over everything. It doesn't matter how heavy it is because this really isn't crucial to this part of it. However, I hate to put anything in a pan without some seasoning, with very few exceptions. Chicken is not one of them. So, you're going to take your chicken. Now at this point, what we're going to do is we're going to put the chicken into the pot so that we have a bit of browning and charring. So the pot is going to be nice. You can see that's very hot, which is fine. Skin side down. Then we just go ahead and repeat the process around the circle. Not everybody is going to be able to get at the first round on the skin side, and that's okay. It doesn't need to. Couple more to go. Couple more to go. Alright, there's our chicken. Now we're going to leave that at that temperature. That's not a problem. Now all the vegetables that we cut earlier, we come back over here, and we just had a runaway carrot if you saw that. And we'll send that on its way. So at this point, you have chicken on the bottom. We're going to go ahead and leave that for 1 moment while it goes ahead and does its thing. Good old wood spoon. And you can see the chicken has kind of done its thing on the bottom. We're going to let this go just for a few minutes. Bring one up from the bottom to give you an idea. It's starting to do that. A little bit of crisp caramelization, crispy. Nothing drastic. Kind of give it all a general stir. You can smell the spices. You can smell the pepper. You can really kind of smell the thyme. Again, one of the strongest ingredients to go with chicken. Rosemary, arguably another. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the root vegetables that are hardest at the bottom, which in this case I don't have parsnips I'm not using, but carrots I am. So I'm going to put carrots right on in here at the bottom. Now, everything's going to get stirred towards the end here. However, what will happen is some of these harder root vegetables being right here at the bottom, they'll get in there. So next in this order, celery. That's what they teach you in school, is to layer, 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 in a case like a stew or a long, slow cook. Now what I'm going to do is the next thing is going to be a mix of both the cilantro and, sorry, we missed these guys. We're just going to sprinkle those throughout. And that, of course, is the rest of our garlic. So the rest of this is cilantro and onions. We're just going to get a good handful. Sprinkle that right over the top. And I do believe that is just going to finish us off. So now we're just going to kind of let the whole thing go for a moment. You can see here I have some water. You can hear immediately the sound just kind of stop. That's the sizzling on the bottom is now going to caramelize. All those nice little bits are going to kind of come up into the broth. Now you could let it go longer than I did. Now you can see I just went right to the level of the broth. Now a lot of people say go over the level. It's a matter of opinion. Here's what I think. Every one of these little pieces that I've put in here, every one of these has a lot of water in it. Especially celery, especially onions. So as these break down, they're going to let off quite a bit of water, quite a bit of liquid. And we can take advantage of that. The flavor that's going to be in with the chicken, in with infusing the chicken, in with the chicken stew itself is going to be the flavor of the celery, the flavor of the carrot, the flavor of that piece of onion. So having that said, I am going to now put the lid on. We're going to look at the temperature, try to bring this up to a boil. So I'm going to throw the lid on. Once your mix does come to a boil, what you're going to want to do is turn that down to a nice medium-high or a simmer, if you want to look at it that way. And we're going to let that simmer for approximately, let's say, an hour and a half, more or less. Now, during the process, you can come along and give it a little stir now and again if you like, but I urge you not to overstir. Don't do too much. What you don't want to do is break your chicken up. So here we have everything. Nice and colorful, ready to go. We will come back and do some seasoning and some other things later. For right now, you've got about an hour, more or less, after it comes to a boil. Again, move it down to a medium-high and let it go for a while. See you soon.